Today, we live in a world of sprawling cities and global networks, standing on the edge of colonizing other planets. We are actively preparing to leave the atmosphere and expand into the cosmos. But rewind the clock 4 billion years, and you find a completely different Earth. It was a hostile rock covered in toxic oceans, battered by violent storms, and entirely indifferent to human existence. There was no blueprint for us. Yet deep underwater, surrounded by volcanic fire and chaos, simple, microscopic cells emerged. Life found a foothold. That microscopic spark began a lineage that connects every modern human to the very first cell. If we want to understand how we are going to conquer the stars tomorrow, we have to look back at the precise sequence of thresholds we crossed to conquer Earth, a sequence that started at the bottom of the ocean. For billions of years, life evolved in the oceans. Organisms became more complex, developing nervous systems, eyes, and skeletons. Then, life crossed a physical threshold. Fish crawled onto shores, slowly transforming fins into limbs and replacing gills with lungs. Progress on land eventually stalled for our direct ancestors. For 160 million years, massive dinosaurs dominated the surface, keeping early mammals trapped in the shadows as small, nocturnal scavengers. That hierarchy only broke when an asteroid struck the planet. The resulting explosion and global fires triggered a mass extinction that wiped the dinosaurs out entirely, creating a massive ecological vacuum, allowing those surviving mammals to step out of the shadows and expand into newly flourishing forests. Without that specific catastrophic reset, mammals would have remained at the bottom of the food chain, and the evolutionary path leading to us would have remained blocked. Moving into the trees forced new physical upgrades. Early primates developed forward-facing eyes, giving them critical depth perception and grasping hands to navigate branches. Then the climate shifted. Dense African jungles dried out into vast open savannas. Early hominins like Australopithecus had to drop down from the canopy and adapt to walking upright on 2 legs to see over the tall grass. Walking upright freed their hands, which led to a technological spark. With the creation of the first stone tools, human ancestors shifted away from relying solely on their physical bodies to manipulating external objects. This external control scaled up when Homo Erectus mastered fire. Flames provided warmth and protection, but more importantly, cooked food released extra calories. That energy fueled the growth of larger brains and encouraged early humans to form settled communities. By combining tools and fire, humanity shifted its survival strategy. Instead of waiting for their bodies to adapt to the environment, they began adapting the environment to themselves. Armed with these advantages, human groups migrated beyond Africa. They crossed mountains and deserts, surviving the freezing conditions of the Ice Age alongside strong, intelligent Neanderthals. When Homo Sapiens eventually emerged, they brought an entirely new evolutionary advantage. They didn't rely on raw muscle or physical endurance. They relied on cognitive imagination. Our ancestors developed the capacity to share complex ideas, create symbolic art, and coordinate rituals, allowing them to cooperate in massive, unified groups that extended far beyond their immediate families. That shared imagination proved superior to sheer physical strength. By organizing and sharing knowledge across generations, Homo sapiens outcompeted every other hominid species on the planet. 12,000 years ago, humanity transitioned from nomadic wandering to permanent settlements. They began cultivating fields and domesticating animals, marking the start of the agricultural revolution. Looking at these ancient mud brick walls from early settlements shows what farming allowed us to do. By producing a reliable food surplus, humans could stop moving and scale up into massive civilizations built along ancient rivers. This clay tablet, marked with cuneiform symbols, demonstrates a direct response to those scaling populations. Managing complex trade networks and government required writing, a way to store memory and critical data outside the biological brain. This factory floor shows the result of applying nature's laws through the scientific and industrial revolutions. We transitioned out of manual biological labor and began compounding our capabilities with mechanized power. And this image of the Sputnik satellite marks the moment those compounding innovations allowed us to break out of our own biosphere, launching the information age and the era of space exploration. When you trace the line all the way back, our journey from single-celled organisms in a toxic ocean to explorers reaching for the cosmos is a single, continuous chain of life's relentless drive to survive, adapt, and discover.